Welcome back to my YouTube channel for the Glow Up season series right now going on my YouTube channel. And today I'm doing an updated video with my mama.
Hi.
So me and my mama did this video over 3 years ago here on my YouTube channel, and it actually blessed a lot of you guys, and we didn't even expect that.
No.
We were just kind of going with the flow and we just did this video. Today we want to just touch back on 3 years later. Okay?
Yes.
So we're going to give you I'm going to ask you, Mama, tell me where you are now 3 years after that particular video.
Obviously, I've had a lot of changes in my life for the better. I feel strong, confident, and just empowered to be who I am.
Yeah, and my mom, she's a nurse and things, so she's a busy woman. She's always working, and so I feel like her life has changed a lot, but also my life has changed a lot since those 3 years. And those 3 years ago, I was living here at home with my mom, and since then, obviously, the ministry, I've moved away and things like that. But specifically, that video was about our relationship.
Yes.
Yeah, me and her personal relationship. And so where do you think our relationship is 3 years after that video?
Oh gosh, it has grown. We had a lot of undercurrent things still that were there, and it was layers and layers that we had to peel back. And even though we felt, like we had resolved a lot, there was still much to resolve.
There was.
And so our relationship now is stronger than ever.
So
our line of communication is there.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about anything, and of course, we're not perfect. We have our disagreements, but we come back, we give each other space, time, and then we come back and address it, and we move forward.
Yeah, and in our last video we talked about being like best friends, and we have that. And to be honest with you, that's never changed. Even in these 3 years, it's actually gotten even better. Now, like we said, we're not perfect. We get on each other's nerves.
Yes,
we ruffle each other's feathers.
Yes.
We do that. So we're not perfect, but it's just a place of communication. And we know, like, no matter what we go through, it doesn't mean we're not going to ever talk. Or no matter if we have a little moment, we're never going to be happy with each other. It's just that moment. And when we get past that moment, we're back to how we are.
Right, best friends. But as her mother, I love my daughter. I love my children. So that takes over everything. That will cover whatever. And that's it.
And I will say, I think how me and my mom got here though is we started having conversations.
Yes.
We had to have the tough conversations.
Yes, very tough.
Yes. And I will say, I feel like a part of Morgan couldn't be blessed because I had a lot of resentment. And a lot of pain. So it's like once I started to deal with that stuff, then my life got better because I wasn't carrying that weight, so to speak.
And truly, it was a lot of burden. Even for me as a mother, there were certain things that I was real insecure about, and I felt like I couldn't talk to Morgan. We had a blow up back in December, and I was like, God, is it going to always be like this? When is Morgan going to forgive me? But more importantly, when am I going to forgive myself? And that was it. That was the turning point for us.
Yeah, that was good. I forgot about that. Oh my gosh. See, there's so many things that, like, to you, it's like not that, it wasn't that changing, but in reality it was. It was.
Very much.
Yeah, it
was.
was.
It still makes me emotional because I realized that, I want my children and my daughter to be different than what I was, to communicate. And I couldn't do that with my father. And that I was repeating cycles that I had learned in my life. And I didn't want to do that with my children. And so it's like God said, okay, Arita, you don't have to. And this is what you have to do. And I just came in and started talking to her like Morgan. And we just like resolved it, boom, just like that.
Yeah, we did.
And then we ended up wrapping presents for the rest of the night.
Oh,
we
we
stayed
did.
up late, and we had hot chocolate and popcorn, and we just talked and laughed. And it was like, thank you, God, because I didn't need to hold it in. And that's what I'm so used to. And that is one of the things that, I've talked about Morgan. You know what? Speak on it, release it. Don't hold it in, because that.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I think this is a big thing to healing relationships is being willing to have those conversations. Because if my mama didn't ask me that night at the table, like, why are you angry with me? What is the root? Like, what's going on? She addressed it, and a part of me is like, I'm not angry with you. And she's like, why are you pulling me? Why are you still comparing me to who I was? Like, that's not who I am. And I remember at that moment, I remember walking down the hall, and I remember thinking, like, I'm not doing that. But real quick, I was like, I've been doing that. Like I couldn't see
Yes.
it. Yeah, I could not see it until she called it out. And so I feel like in that moment, I could see what I was doing to her, which allowed healing and it allowed awareness, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And it did. And that, like I said, that was a turning point.
Yeah.
Like for me as her mother, that was a turning point. And I knew that, you know, no matter what, I could address it. And it wasn't going to be a make or break deal. I could address it.
Yeah.
I could address it and I could speak on it.
Yeah. So, Mama, I'm gonna ask you this. So, if there's a woman out there, and let's say her daughter is like me, like growing up, you know,
Right.
real rambunctious, running away, doing things I had no business doing, you know, a lot. Okay. Getting into fights, you know, everything. So, what would be your advice to that particular mother as you see my transition?
Oh my goodness. Don't give up on your child. You know what? Cover your child in prayer. Tell them about your life. Tell them you don't want them to repeat what you did or go through. But, you know, support them unconditional. I've always, no matter what, Morgan, she may have been a handful, very busy, of course. We all know Morgan was very busy. We speak about that in our family. Morgan was very busy. Just support them and love them. And no matter, you know, let them know they can come to you regardless of whatever and be there for them. I will be here for my children until the day I die. No matter what they do, no matter what comes in life, I'm here for them. You know, I used to be like maybe more aggressive and I didn't know how to communicate when I was younger. And as I gotten older and my children grew and they were older, I knew that I could come at them that way because that's the way I knew to come at them. So I started changing. I started talking. I started asking. Now, there's still parts of me that would be like, you better check yourself.
All right, girl. I've heard that many more times.
Yeah, you better check yourself before I do.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I'd have to come back at them. But, you know, I think as a mother and a daughter, you know, there's a bond. There is a bond that's unbreakable.
Yeah.
And you may think like, oh, you know, whatever, you know, I don't have to listen. I don't have to do that. And as a mother, you know, you're like, I don't, you know, should I just give up on my child or do I just let them go? No, you cover them in prayer. And you be there and you say, hey, you come to me, whatever, I don't care, whatever it is, you come to me. And I will help you. You know, if it's having to give you advice, whatever, we're going to come to a solution. But you know what? We're going to pray about it because I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to have you already covered in prayer. And that has been like the changing point in my life was I always knew about God growing up because I had a very strong grandmother that was, she loved the Lord. It showed in every aspect of her life. And I know that, you know, as a mother, you know, you want the best for your children. And I think my grandmother, because my mother died at a young age, she prayed for us all the time and wanted the best for us. I know that. I could see her hand, you know, I mean, her love and everything that she put her hands on. And I've tried to relay that to Morgan and Brienne and Alexander as they've gotten older. And, you know, just don't give up on your child. Don't give up.
Yeah.
And love them and support them.
Yeah.
And I've always, you know, regardless, I've always supported Morgan.
She's been my biggest supporter, and I always say that from when my ministry started, obviously even before when I was not saved and wilding, she was always my biggest supporter. And even since the ministry started in the beginning, I wasn't very confident about what I was doing. And my mom would be like, oh, Morgan's building a ministry. Like she would be telling everybody, and I'd be like, chill, like I'm so scared and I don't know if it's gonna work, right? But she's always been my biggest supporter, and so I think having her always backing me up in my decisions, it's always made me be like, okay, I can tell Mama about this struggle I'm having. I can tell her about this pain I'm going through or these loneliness, right? Like having this open communication, I've been able to tell her things, which has allowed our relationship to heal over time. And now we both know, like, we're not perfect. We got a lot more healing to do.
We do.
We're on a journey. Yeah,
it is.
We're on a journey. But I will say, I just want to give you hope out there, even some young women who might not have a close relationship with your mother. The key is love.
It is. And believe that, you know, whatever you're going through, you're going to get through it. And don't lose hope. Those were like love, hope, believe, trust, all the good things that God gives. That's what I have had to pull on.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, Mom, our relationship has transformed so much. We both went through life transitions and changes. And in this whole transition, it's made us come to each other more in honest conversations.
Yes.
And we've talked on topics that we probably didn't even think we'd ever talk on, really.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've
really
talked on so much stuff, and we've got to open up an atmosphere of just non-judgment, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that has allowed us to grow, just grow.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I wanted to say to the girls out there who don't have that relationship with their mom right now. Or there's a lot of things and you feel like your mom is judging you or your mom is always, you know, on your back or something like that. The reality is some of the stuff she is saying is true though. Take heed, you know, question it. Say, my mom said this, let me take this to the Father. Like, is this something I'm really doing to her? Or is this something I'm really operating in? Is this a cycle I'm repeating? You know, like ask yourself that, because I feel like when a parent is speaking to you, it's all out of love most of the time. And it's also just to protect you so you don't go down the same path that they went down.
Right, and that is it. Just trying to give direction. Make your life better.
Yeah.
Better.
Yeah, and save you a lot of roadblocks. I wish
I
wish I would have listened when I was a lot younger. Lord have mercy.
Oh, but you had to go through it just to experience and grow yourself.
Yeah, I definitely did. So do you have any last words for the moms out there or the daughters and their relationships, or even the women who didn't grow up with the mother?
Love yourself first, and just be willing to communicate, and just love yourself. That's it. And just love yourself, because when you love yourself, that can come out to everybody around you, including your children, your daughters. And never give up on your child. That's it. Just never give up. And trust and believe that, you know, whatever you're praying for, or how their life, whatever they're praying for and how their life should be or they want it to be, you know, it can be.
And, you know, I want to just touch back on never give up on your parents. I know you might see like, oh, I wish they would do this better. I wish they did this better. But just understand they're still going through their growth as well, right? And so never give up on who they're going to become. You're becoming somebody, but they're still becoming somebody as well.
Right.
And so never give up on their growth and their journey. And also to have compassion for them, for what they went through and the things that they taught you. Like, have compassion, because the reality of it is we have a God that we know He took it all. Like, we can forgive because He has forgiven us. And I think that right there is going to be an ongoing journey for you. But when you really get to a place of compassion and love, then you don't want to give up on your parent. Like, there's no reason, like, that's not an option. It's just like, we have this moment, we had this hiccup, we have this struggle, but we're going to get through it. And I think that's it. Just don't give up.
Right, and you know what? Forgiveness. I didn't even touch on until she said that. But I mean, I did speak on it, but forgive, you know, and it'll be an ongoing process. There'll be things you have to forgive, even for yourself. Then you have to forgive, you know, even what your child has done to you. And it's like, don't hold on to that, because that just, like she said, it's a burden.
Yeah.
And it starts weighing you down in different areas, and you don't even realize it until it becomes full blown.
Yeah.
It comes to a head, and then it's like, you know, just forgive,
Yeah.
you know, and love. Because when you love somebody, it's so easy to forgive.
It is. It's so easy. That's why it's so easy to forgive each other now when we have our little blow-ups or something. It's just like, okay, because we just love each other so much.
Yes.
And I think that's the key to all of this, is we wanted to show you where we are 3 years later. Because at that time, we thought we were so close, right?
Oh, yes.
We didn't. We thought we was, and now we look back like, wow, there were still things in the way we hadn't even truly dealt with at the time. But now we are so much more closer.
We are.
You know, and so much more healed.
Yes, and just honest.
Yeah.
And real honest. Just talking.
And I even want to say this. I think the more healed you become, the more it reflects in your life.
It does.
And I think that's why at that season we were doing well for ourselves. Though to us, we felt like we were great.
Yeah.
But the more healing we got, the more our life began to transform and get better and better. So our encouragement to you guys is heal that relationship. Try your best. Give that to the Lord.
Yes.
Forgive. My mom always says 70 times 70, right? Like the Bible.
70 times 70, but that's always, never stop.
Yeah.
That's just, you know,
Just
that's just a number. Just keep doing it.
Keep forgiving. She always says that. So that's just kind of our motto, I guess, in a way. Just keep forgiving. And that's, you will see a transition in the relationships with your mother. And last but not least, I wanted to say this to my women out there who are the young ones. People are not always going to be here, okay? And I think, and that is the reality. It might be your mama, it might be you, it might be a sibling. Somebody can always go in the blink of an eye. And I think if you have that awareness, you will not let these little nitpicky things stop you from loving that person. You won't. There's no point in having this little nitpicky issues when the Lord says love, forgive. And when you do that, your life will be blessed, sis. So forgive your mama for everything she did wrong. Mamas, forgive your daughters for everything they said to you and did against you. Forgive them and move forward in that love, because that's going to heal your family. It's going to heal your children's children.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
And she talked on my great grandma, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you talked about how she did everything in love, and in a way that helped heal you.
It did.
And showed you another aspect of life. And now my mom walking in unconditional love to her children is now showing me how to have unconditional love into my future children, and my sister how to have unconditional love
Oh, yes.
to her children.
It's a reflection.
It's
It
a
has
ripple
showed.
effect. Yeah. So we just want to encourage you with that. And thank you, Mama, for coming on
Oh,
here.
you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
3 years later, we got the
Yes.
woman back on here. But
Yes.
but hopefully we'll touch back in another 3 years and we'll see
Amen.
exactly where we are there.
That's
Okay?
right. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies. We love you so much. If you have any part of this that blessed you the most, I want you to leave that in the comment section below, and we will see you in our next video.
Bye. Bye.
That was good, Mama.
You know what? That was really